Hey everybody, Elizabeth Varian here. How are you? Let me move this out of my way as always. Oh my goodness. So the topic today are 5 things, not 10, 5 things. I'm used to double hands here. 5 things to stop saying today. Ruh Roh, negative energy video. No, it's not a negative energy video. And yes, we hear all the times, don't use the word don't and stop. Because that's what we focus on. But today I want you to focus on these because it's not negative energy. Like Abraham Hicks has a better way of saying it. It's contrasting energy. I think it's important though that we focus on these because to create a shift, it's going to create a shift in speaking and thinking and the way we look at our lives. You know, my end goal with this is to start changing your perspective. We label things as good or bad, but basically, experienced things and people are neither. They just are. It's our label of them. It's how they make us feel, right? Abraham Hicks says contrasting energies. I would say, and I believe they would agree, in serving energy versus non-serving energy, right? So sometimes, or actually many times, we think we're saying and thinking and believing something is serving us because, it feels good to say it. But then when you go to actually do it, it shows up or it doesn't show up, then it doesn't feel good in the action of. And that can be tricky in the laws of manifestation. Because we say all the time, keep your perspective shifting, because if you're looking out here expecting it to change, it isn't. But if you change where you look, then out here starts to change to match it, our energy vibration. And we say how we are feeling tells us if our compass is right. But sometimes we feel good because of a society or an overlying reason that isn't part of the core, that if we focused only on the core, we'd realize, that doesn't feel good. And I'll explain more as we go along. It'll start making more sense. We may be thinking it's serving us, but it's actually causing a barrier or an obstacle to the very desire that we're intending, and in fact is not serving us. So 5 things to stop saying or focusing on, right? So there's no particular order. And some of these things, somebody's going to buck, because I've ran into people and I feel, because remember, I'm an empath. I feel other people's energy. And when they use some of these, it is a solid wall of energy, which when I feel that, I just back down on the conversation to try and shift that, because I cannot change them. And that solid energy tells me that's a solid belief that they have. And for me to continue with sharing my belief is pointless unless, if it's just a general conversation. It's always, pick your battles. You don't need the last word in everything. It's a lesson I'm trying to learn. So when I feel that, I just let it go. But then I make note of it going, that's a limiting belief that I can teach you guys that you may not want to go so solid on. So again, no particular order, right? They're just how they came to me. And again, I am creating this late morning on Tuesday because I started writing it yesterday, because I had a whole different topic in mind that I wanted to write about. And I just felt a nudge that this was more important than the other topic right now. So I couldn't stop writing once I got the flow. So that's what Abraham Hicks always talks about, staying in the downstream, staying with the flow of energy, and things come easier. So what is the first thing? Well, the first thing are 3 words: need, want, waiting. And I find myself shifting and changing these words frequently, because when I hear it come out of my mouth, doesn't feel right. When that doesn't feel right is, I don't need, I am, receiving. I am excited about receiving. I am joyful for watching this, if we're talking about money flowing into my bank account. So I need money. I want a trip. I am waiting for the relationship to show up. That's one that people commonly go to when they know don't say need or want. So why are these three words the first thing I'm telling you to stop saying? The law of attraction says that what you are being is what you're attracting. So, three things. Number one, stating that you need, want, or are waiting implies that you're focused on the lack of money, lack of projects, lack of customers, lack of clients, lack of whatever the need is. And it continually, the third one, I'm going to put it here in the second spot instead because I think it flows better. It continually brings that awareness to the absence of our desires. This is a quote from Abraham Hicks that I was listening to, and I quickly wrote it down. I'm like, oh, that's so good. You can tell I've been listening to Abraham Hicks quite a bit lately. I'm going to quote him or them a lot. But it continually brings our awareness to absence of our desires, which can be a stronger focus or vibration for our attention. In return, continues to bring more of the absence of rather than the very thing that we are trying to intend. And the third, it keeps you in a state of wanting, a state of needing or waiting. Definitely does not serve you in having your desires. My being is wanting. Okay, let's hold this. Let's keep them in a state of wanting more. It's like asking for patience. Oh, she wants patience. Let's make her wait for something. I did not ask for patience when I got stuck at a train track last night for over an hour before I was able to get out of downtown West Palm Beach. I said, Lord, you're just telling me I needed to listen to these Abraham Hicks CDs longer, didn't you? And played on Facebook. So, but asking for patience keeps you in a state of waiting, stating that you are wanting, stating that you are needing, stating that you are wanting, waiting, or needing, keeps you in that state of being. And that's not the experience you're seeking. It doesn't serve you. So change it to, I am excited about seeing the money coming into my account. I am excited about the energy vibration, because many times people say, Elizabeth, I can't lie. Well, you're not lying, but there's always ways of saying it. And you have to really check within yourself as to what feels right for you to say because if you don't believe it, just because I say it doesn't mean it's going to work. It's not going to happen. So, but if I say, I am so excited and I get in that feeling of love and thinking about that relationship that is coming and amazing times in the experience, I love being in love. That's a true statement. You can say that instead of I am waiting for a relationship. I am thrilled and excited as I see money flowing into my bank accounts. I am excited and thrilled when clients are easy, relaxed, and fun to work with. They have big budgets and they pay promptly when receiving their invoices. Oh, that excites me. And as you are saying it and you are believing what you're saying, that energy vibration comes up to match and meet it, right? Yay, right? So that's number one. Number two, this is one that kicks people all the time. Debt-free. Now, many people say that you don't use these words debt-free because the word debt is in it, and you're focusing on that word. That's not why I'm saying don't use the word debt-free. I actually have written 2 posts right now that are like book size because I see it all over the internet. It's true that you don't want to focus on the word debt or, using the words debt-free, but debt-free isn't actually what people want in the United States of America. And I'm pretty certain in Europe as well, where money is so fondly shifting and visible to most people, okay? The lands of abundance. It's available in other countries as well, but I'm going to focus on these two because these countries stay in debt, the countries themselves and the people, quite considerably. So the reason that I want you to stop saying the word debt-free is because debt-free may be blocking or an obstacle for what you're really desiring. So many people are believing for investments, investment opportunities. They're believing for or new opportunities of income if they're not thinking the word investment. They're thinking, I want a new house, desiring a house, seeking the new house, or a new car. It's part of their intention list to have extra income, passive income, new house, or a new car. Well, guess what? Unless you have where you manifested 100% of the payment cost, you are going to incur debt. But it's good debt. Just like there's good carbs and bad carbs. Bad carbs create a little extra to love. Good carbs help your hair to stay in while you're losing weight. I learned this the hard way, just for you. So just like there are good carbs and bad carbs, there's good debt and bad debt. Wealthy people are known for using debt as a financial vehicle to keep cash in the bank while increasing their income. So I'm going to break these three down, but I'm going to add another one in if it comes back to my memory, because now it just left again. So a new house. So you have on your intention list, I desire a new house. So ideally, a minimum of 20% of the cost for down payment is what the general rule of thumb is. And a loan can be used to reduce taxes. You get a tax write-off with your home depending on where you live. Check with your tax advisors. A new car, a car loan can also be used. My car loan reduces my taxes considerably, especially if you own a business and you drive, your car and it's related to your business. For both house and car, you get the best percentage by keeping good credit. Now, having good credit as an intention is definitely a must. For me, though, my new car is repairing my credit from the recession. The debt is being used for positive results, and it's working. I'm watching it work. So, purchasing an investment property. So, if you're believing for passive income, but you're saying, I want to be debt-free, or I am debt-free, or you have an intention, because see, I just told you about the three, and now I'm using those words. The intention of being debt-free, but you're requesting purchasing investment properties, or having passive income, you've just cut off investments, not just properties as in home. And I'll cover that here in a second. So an investment property, either a long-term rental or a vacation rental, which we all know that Airbnb and HomeAway have taken off like crazy. When I stayed in Key West, that was an investment property that I rented for 30 days, and they got about $5,000 for that. That is most likely more than their mortgage, because I have found with working with clients, vacation rentals actually bring in more money than long-term rentals. There's less damage. There's consistent. You have to have the consistent. Okay, so those are the positive. The negative, if you want to see it that way, is, but the laws of manifestation is you have to consistently be bringing in people year round. And I know one person that during the recession, I had recommended that he turns his own home into a vacation rental. He lived with a neighbor or even came and stayed with me, and that kept his nose above water the entire time, because it brought in more income than his business was bringing at the time. However, having vacation rental properties brings on a debt if you don't have 1,000% of the payment for the property. So you don't want to cut off that stream of income by saying debt-free. It may not be your route, but you don't know. The how is none of our business. So the mortgage, repairs, any HOA fees comes out of the rentals. The other one that people don't think about, and because I love motor yachts, I love luxury, and I'm addicted to them not because of other people's opinions, but because I have a true appreciation for how they're built. I don't know much about the technical and engines and things. I love, the structures, the interiors, etc. But boats, whether mega yachts or even small little boats, they depreciate in value much quicker than a car. And they have much more maintenance because you have the barnacles, you may have storage or dock fees. But chartering brings in amazing income. Just like vacation rentals, they bring in a higher income than if you just sold the boat, but you also have to be consistently bringing in. So there's charter brokers out there that can help you if you don't want to do it yourself. You also know to stop and use the laws of attraction to bring in and create a business from it, a passive income where the clientele is flowing in consistently. So it's a great income when you know the laws of manifestation. Those are two things that create debt. So fourth thing, I actually wrote it down, so that's a good thing, is credit cards. Credit cards are debt. Credit cards have been given a bad rep. They have extremely ridiculous credit percentage out there. They are not all bad though. So it is a debt, but if you can manage it, it can help increase your credit rating, which is how my credit cards are helping me at this point as well, or my one. And they expand your buying power to increase your income flow. So my one credit card bought the, let's put it up here, the I Am a Man, Money Magnet, if I can say it, I Am a Money Magnet book. I have to buy the inventory first and then sell the books. Well, without having the credit card to manage it, follow it, and keep reminding me, that these are sale items, then that's a stream of income I wouldn't have otherwise because I focus, elsewhere for where my actual income goes. So it allowed me to purchase inventory, and I have sold, a few. So yay. So credit cards can be good. Now, they do not serve you if you see them as free cash and never focus on the increased income. So like I said, I bought the inventory. I also have bought some cups for demo purposes of the She Believed She Could, so she did. These are all at joyfullivingstore.com, joyfullivingstore.com. But a credit card helps businesses to purchase inventory. So as long as you keep it focused in sales and selling the items and then get out there and focus on the manifesting of the sales, then credit cards are not bad debt. So asking to be debt free is saying not B-U-Y buy, but B-Y-E, buy house, buy car, buy investment property. Instead, focus on reducing payments that no longer serve you, reducing interest rates by shopping around, and knowing you're worth the lower interest rates. When your credit score is high, your interest rates go down. When your credit score is down, your interest rates go high. You don't have negotiation power. So focus on having the negotiation power by increasing that credit score, and focus on having more income flowing in. Don't add the going out, just more abundance coming in. So number one, as you can see, I still work on it, is needing, wanting, waiting. And number two is the words debt free. They don't serve you if you have these goals. Okay, number three kind of butts up against some Christian teachings and some feeling higher in moral standing, but it's the give to get. I remember one pastor called it the blab it and grab it. But it's not law of attraction. So in the Christian world, and I will be quoting the Bible if the Bible is not your book of preference for spiritual guidance, just keep flowing along. I'll get out of it in a time. But tithing, doing good for others, or believing that you can only manifest an intention that serves the greater good. These are kind of the subcategories, if you will, of give to get. It's a limiting belief. It's not necessarily, well, you don't want to speak it out, but people do speak it out all the time. But it's also a belief system that you have to give to get. And I'd like you to shift that perspective from the system and come back to what laws of manifestation says, which I am abundance and I am freely receiving all that I intend, desire, and wish for and hope for, right? So let's kind of break it down. But first and foremost, I'm not against helping others. I'm not against giving value or, giving, doing good for others or tithing. But these limiting beliefs wrapped in a blanket of perceived higher values, aka I'm a good person because I gave, I feel better about myself because I give because I was taught this, or other people perceive me as a good person. Those are all obstacles, because remember, it all comes back to your heart, what you believe. So let's talk about the all-powerful tithing. Now, I do want to stop and mention, in the laws of manifestation, there is a law of clearing. It typically falls under the creative or attraction laws. I told you there's many sub-laws, and they fall under the three. For me, all the time, they fall under the three. It'll fall under creativeness if I'm trying to create space to then attract. But then again, I say it falls under attraction because I'm increasing my magnet. So if I'm creating this space or clearing this space, so like I clear out my shoe closet, if I clear out my clothing, if I clear out, whatever, clean the clutter, if while I'm doing it, I am focused on what I'd like to have in its place, then it's under law of attraction because I'm energizing my magnet. Does that make sense? It falls under really both. Many people will say it's its own law separate from all, but everything typically falls under creating, attracting, or allowing. And clearing space is, I wanted new clothes when I was in my 20s, and I was really, poor at the time. I was at 19.5 before I moved to Florida a year in Minnesota, where cost of living was not cheap. Fun, but not cheap. And so I cleared out closet of items that I didn't want anymore. They didn't serve me. And this is before I knew all the laws, but I did it, and I was at the mall just kind of strolling on a lunch hour, and there was a store going out of business. Everything was $9 or less, affordable. And I ended up with a new wardrobe. A week later, a friend who had similar taste was giving a bunch of clothes away. I ended up getting a ton of them, which I appreciated. Thanks, Tammy. So, the law of clearing is one thing. But I'm not giving to get. I'm not focusing on, well, I have to do this to get. I just know that while I'm clearing this, I'm focused on the replacement of it. Or this no longer serves me, it goes. And then instinctually, something will come. But the heart of giving to get, you're going to focus so much on where's the get that the give is totally wasted of time and energy. I hope that makes sense. I don't want to get too discombobulated in my verbiage. So back to tithing. Tithing is a biblical concept of giving 10%. In the Quran, I believe it's 2%, but they have a tithe as well. So if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, or if you're Jewish, the tithe makes sense to you. It's supposed to be off your net income and goes to your church or the place where you receive spiritual food. It's derived in the Old Testament or the Jewish scriptures, if you will. The prosperity teaching in the church will always point to Malachi 3:10. Tithing is all throughout the Bible. I can't remember. I think it was Moses that met Melchizedek, the king of Salem, and gave him 10% of spoils. So that was kind of the first hint of tithing ever in the Bible. And then it is mentioned actually throughout the Bible, but Malachi 3:10, and I'm going to be quoting NIV Bible, it says, "Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this." Only time the Lord says test me in the Bible. Says the Lord Almighty, El Shaddai. "And see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it." But the prosperity teachings tend to forget in the Christian world, because this is New Testament, 2 Corinthians 9:7. In the NIV Bible, that says, "Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart." What you have decided in your heart. Doesn't say 10%. And not reluctantly, under compulsion. Not because you were told to, you were taught to, you have to. Because that's low energy connection, right? But for God loves a cheerful giver. And some Bible version says a joyful heart. You know, I love that. Right? The tithe was established originally for the local church during the time to help support the church financially, because they weren't out working. Many times these days you'll get a pastor who, like Joel Osteen, John Maxwell used to be a pastor. He broke off and now just does leadership management. But when he was a pastor, gosh, I just had another name in my head. Max Lucado, or Lucado, I forget how it's pronounced. Creflo Dollar, my favorite, T.D. Jakes. All these pastors make money. I don't know if Max Lucado keeps it for himself or if he distributes it to the church, but many of them on the side are writing books. So they're making money outside of the church, and they also in turn helps grow the church and the popularity of their churches, which is met with both positive and negative energy. I have neither nor towards any of them. But back in those days, they weren't doing that. They don't have side jobs. And by the way, I'm teaching on Sunday, and I'm here for you for hospital visits, and for counseling, etc., etc. So the tithe was established as a way to support the church. There are many who tithe and say, I don't get anything from it. Well, they're missing that joyful heart part, the cheerful giver. If they just do it without a thought, that's like us saying, well, I wish I had, blah, 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 and then go about our life, and blah, blah, blah never shows up. That's why I said I want to write a blog post about the Manifesting Bible. It's all throughout it. So they're just doing it without a thought of what it's really meaning, and what they are really supporting with it. When you give to your church, or if you're in your home and you watch via television, or computer or whatever, and you have a spiritual connection with that place which is spiritually feeding you and taking you to a level of vibration connection with God, universe, infinite source possibilities, whatever you want to call it, then you're going to give financially, not because of a requisite to be part of that church. You're going to give because, I want to support them. I would love to see this continue to grow, and I want to be part of that. That's a different heart and a different energy. I am not against tithing. I used to tithe not on the net like you're supposed to, especially as a business owner, but on the gross, because I believed I couldn't outgive God. Then I fell under a local church that abused the message. It created a depletion of my bank account, and another church that was local here where I'm at boasted about the $1 million tithe, to which internally I'm going, wait, Jesus pointed out the woman who gave the least actually gave the most, because she gave out of all she had, not out of her abundance. And I ended up without savings right in the middle of the recession. It isn't their fault. I am not a victim, but I no longer had the tithe that I could afford. Then I realized the truth about the give to get not being factual or part of my connection with God. You know, I didn't have a love for the churches that I was going to. I didn't have that giving because I was excited to be part of something. So my heart, which is what God is more concerned with than your actual giving or your money, is what matters most. My belief and my trust in God is what became the strength, and my return and full focus on laws of manifestation with God come from Proverbs 3:5-6, again in the NIV. And that is, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understandings. The how is none of your business. In all my ways I submit, law of allowing, to him, and he, through his own hows, make my path straight, right? That was the absolute truth. God loves me fully as I am, and gave to me without me having to pay a tithe. Tithe if it's on your heart and with a joyful heart. Don't do it for any other reason. Doing good for others to get your intentions. Want to be careful of my time. Actually, I'm doing pretty good. Again, it goes back to motive. What is in your heart? If you're like my friends, Art and Debbie, who when they're serving others, they are laughing, they're joyful, they're abundantly just in joy energy, then keep giving because it brings you joy to serve others. My friend Maxine is the same way. You know, if she has to give, if she's in an opportunity of giving to people versus, say animals, she'd prefer to give to people. She has that connection. Financially, would rather give to others. It's okay. There's other people who have it on their heart to give to animals and other charitable events like music and things that are still great to give to. So, but the whole point is following your joy and your heart. But if you're like me, if there's something that I just really want to do to help someone else, I will do it. But for the most part, I don't have that joy in serving on a consistent, regular basis. If I want to do it because of how it makes me appear to others, wrong reasons, I will show up and I will put on that mask of happiness. You will have no clue that I am miserable inside going, gosh, I'd rather be home writing a blog. I'd rather be out with friends. I'd rather be, elsewhere. So that brings low energy vibrations if you're doing things for the wrong reasons. You're getting a consistent message here on this one, right? So if that's your joy energy, keep doing it. But if you're doing good because someone told you that you had to do good for others to create intentions, stop it. Stop it right now. Your energy vibration will be low and focused on wanting and not serving. So it will work against you. Sounds good, but it will work against you. So can only manifest if it serves a greater good. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I had not heard this as a limiting belief or as a belief until I went for an astrology reading, which I had never really had done ever before, except my mom did it when I was a kid by hand. But when I went to it, she said, she stated this, well, what is your desires? Oh, I want to create this company and I want to build it up and blah, blah, blah. She goes, yeah, but how does that serve others? How does that serve the greater good? Well, I think just in its existence, I guess. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about, I love to write blogs. I love to create content. I love to teach. I love to share. I didn't think about it. And again, I told you earlier, when I'm in communication with someone and I feel that concrete wall of energy around their words, I know this is a concrete belief in them. Well, this is a good scenario of the case for me to pull back because There's no purpose served for me to go, hey, that's a limiting belief. It doesn't serve. She can keep her belief. And I can go, good teaching point for you guys. So she had to, in fact, work very diligently to figure out how it fit into her limiting beliefs for us to move forward. So Live Joy Today is what I was talking about, and the focus of it and the teachings of it. It serves me. I'm always thinking about me. It serves others. The teachings, the people receiving it, you're putting that energy of goodness out. You're talking on this and you're talking on that and you're selling these products. That's how it's helping the greater good. Okay, if that's what you need. I just see this as a limiting belief. Why? Because how does desiring your car, unless you intend to always use it for Meals on Wheels, feeding the homeless, using it to serve others, see above, fit the greater good? It fits your good. It fits a joyful feeling and a joyful energy vibration. A house or even a boat. You know, many times being out on the water on a boat is the most relaxing, most peaceful, connected to nature feeling I ever get. Doesn't serve the greater good except for the fact I know collective consciousness, my good joyful energy goes out to other people's joyful energy, but it doesn't apply to this statement. So your joy energy will already bring your higher creator, God, or universe joy. And that's the importance of creating, is living experiences and finding that joy, as well as the journey, like I said, having fun in the journey to something, but it's also growing and learning. If you think about school here in America specifically, you know, elementary school, you start out, oh, you're so nervous, you're scared the first day of school. By the end of the year, oh, I got a hang of this, it's good. Now next year, you know, you go through every year in elementary school where most of the classes are all in one. And so it takes a year getting to learn new students, and now you got to learn new math, and you know the English goes deeper level of learning. Your studies of the social systems are deeper, and every year you're stretched, you're learning more, and then you go on to junior high. Well, now I got to travel, you know, or middle school, whatever you call it now, and you have to travel from place to place, and you get a locker, and oh my goodness, I've got to step out of and grow my comfort zone, but it steps out a bit in the beginning. And then the next level, you're going to high school. Whoa, even more. Now we got hormones bouncing off the walls. Manifesting, the journey to me is always like going to a new school and a new level up. When you level up, there's new learning. It doesn't always feel good. You know, it sounds crazy, but when I first started learning, started a job as a cocktail server at a bar in a hotel, I just could not grasp the names. I have name issues, or have always had name issues with having a form of dyslexia. And I literally, using laws of attraction and manifestation, looked up at night going, if I don't get all these figured out by tomorrow's, I'm quitting. The next day, names were popping in. I was memorizing them because a label of a dyslexia or some sort of or any kind of label doesn't serve me. I can bust past it. And I did, because I spoke it out. I'm going to do this, or I'm giving up. Well, I'm not a give up person, and that put the task on the universe, not on me. And so when we are manifesting, these stops we're going from elementary school to junior high. Then the next level, we're going up to a collegiate level. And it takes some practice. We are taught certain things, and it sounds right, but now it doesn't serve us. So, having the want, need, waiting, debt-free, and give to get. We're stopping those. We're only going to do what feels right in us internally. We're going to go to that next level up. We're going to level up in our learning. And I've been using that phrase so much now in my personal life. Elizabeth, we're going to level up. So Each time we level up, we got the learning. We're on that journey, and part of that journey is getting that boat and enjoying the ocean. And it serves me. And it's okay, because when I'm in joy and I can use that time to peace out, I'm connected to God. And there's nothing greater than that, in my opinion. Need this person, or this person needs to, actually. Other people changing to make you happy is basically saying that only when circumstances outside my control then I will be happy or able to live the desires of my heart. Well, that ain't gonna happen. Sorry. Many times those people are in your life to direct you, to make changes within you, or to help you focus on contrasting desires to make a decision that will all lead to having what you're wanting. Or you manifested them and you need to manifest the contrast by refocusing your intentions. I've dated a lot of people in my life, not considerable amount, but enough to know I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this. Now let's create the relationship that I love, I desire, and I am basking in love energy over, right? Okay, so this last one applies to business or work experience. And it is so constantly given. It is actually given in a couple of the manifesting books that I gave you. However, it does not apply as a you have to get and receive what you're intending. Let me say that again. What I'm about to say is something you definitely want to do, and it is stated in many law of attraction books, but is not a necessary to receive what you are intending. So what is it? You must give value to get. So, though it is true you always want to deliver the highest level of service, quality of products, and more in your work or business, it's actually a limiting belief. When it comes to money especially, but not just money, and I'm going to cover that. It creates an obstacle for surprise money, free trips, lottery windfall money. What value are you getting to get that lottery windfall or the windfall of surprise money? Surprise money windfall could be inheritance that you didn't know was coming to you. Or even if you think it's coming, but windfall can also be winning a sweepstakes or a contest. It could be checks in the mail. When I was manifesting my Key West trip, a check for over $400, nearly $5, showed up in the mail from a lawsuit from a 2010 or credit card that I hadn't had since 2010. I had no clue that this was going on. What value did I give to get that, over $400? I didn't give anything to get it. I focused on a trip and I didn't worry about the how, and the money just kept showing up. Now, in my business, I go above and beyond, and I definitely deliver value. I buy the products before I put them on the site to sell to make sure there's value in them. But I don't do that to get. I do that because it's the right thing to do, and I like creating value. So you're going to put a block on anything unexpected that you desire. See, not just money, but what about free brand new furniture? I had a friend who had a house that she let people move in that were going to rent to buy, and they decided, everything fell through. They not only stole all her furniture, but they took cabinets off the wall. Well, she is a very strong Christian, and she was out driving around, and there's almost brand new Tommy Bahama furniture just up the road from her that she ran back with her car, got her boyfriend in his truck to go pick it up, and it was better than the furniture she had before. Hello, free furniture, free cruises. I went on my Alaskan cruise. I didn't pay a dime. I didn't give any value to get it. I was just working in a job regularly. While I was on the cruise, she asked if I would help by doing something. Sure, I did it, but I didn't have to do that to get the cruise. I did it while I was on it because it was a nice thing to do and I felt great about it. Free service needed, handyman work, painting. I've had a lot of friends that, have said, hey, I couldn't believe it. A handyman showed up. I couldn't afford to paint this, and he showed up and he just painted it for me. He had the coloring on him. He had the extra, and he blessed me with it. No value was given. Thanksgiving was given. Intention was given. We have to remember we are highly blessed and favored beings. We give value because that's who we are. But we don't have to focus on delivering anything to receive. We are not in the business of limiting how anything comes to us. So we're actually doing great on time. We're under an hour. We're just after the 45-minute mark. Yay. So, to wrap it up, they sound great, some of them. It sounds like you don't want to use it for one reason, and it turns out there's another. But these 5 things I would like you to stop saying and perceiving today. Start in your journal time. Take one and start, writing different ways to say need, want, waiting. Realize what items do you want that may create debt, and go and shift it out and focus on the joy of increasing your credit rating instead, or something else. Decreasing your monthly payments is one thing, and increasing your income is another. Giving to get with tithing, doing something good for others, for the karma effect, isn't how karma works. You're doing it with the wrong heart. This person needs to. No, they don't. You need to. You need to look internally. And people are helping you in your education skills as well. This person is helping you to go from elementary school and teach you a deeper level of what a relationship really means. They're also teaching you what you like or dislike about relationships. Or they may be reflective of things that you don't like about yourself, which, is normally never the fun one to realize. But it's the easiest one to correct. Give value so that you can, or you must give value, you must give value to get. You give value because you're a person of value. You don't give value to get because you're blocking an obstacle. You're creating an obstacle of various hows that can come to you that don't require giving at all. So that is our 5 things to stop saying, 5 things to stop saying today. And remember to head over to the Joyful Living store, joyfullivingstore.com, and purchase our wonderful manifesting tools and female empowerment tools. Until next week, bye.